Bring in NewsNation's own Leland Vittert, host of Unbalanced. He's been covering the ongoing situation in Ukraine very, very closely, familiar as you've traveled to the region. But what exactly should we make out of this latest meeting involving Emmanuel Macron and Putin?
No, probably not much. The idea that Vladimir Putin is going to be deterred by the French president is kind of laughable, frankly. But what you're trying to see here is this attempt by Western European governments to have Putin understand that there's going to be some kind of cost. And you heard that in Allison's piece, the National Security Advisor of the United States. So there's going to be a great cost to Russia, and there's going to be explanations of that cost. The question is the price that is being extracted or will be extracted from Vladimir Putin one which he cares about? And so far, it appears as though he cares a lot more about restoring Russian prestige and the greater Soviet or Russian empire being reestablished and brought back together than he does about any kind of sanctions against him or his cronies. Now, if Emmanuel Macron can try and rejigger that calculus, that'd be something that would be kind of interesting. But it doesn't really seem as though Macron can give Putin anything that he wants. So there you go.
And really, Leland, I mean, we've been talking about this. We've had conversations on television about this over and over again. Is war imminent? This being a Cold War, once again, we're watching China and the meeting that he just had with Xi Jinping in Beijing over the Olympic Games. How much momentum is this actually having? And the fact that U.S. troops are going over, the signal that the U.S. is sending Russia is that this is a serious situation, that they believe that Russia is calling everybody's bluff.
Well, exactly. But the U.S. is making it clear we're sending troops everywhere that Russia is not going to invade, and not to the one place that Russia will invade. So sending U.S. troops to Poland, while makes for good television and makes everyone say, oh, U.S. troops are going to Europe, effectively to Vladimir Putin, he hears the reverse, right? He hears, well, U.S. troops aren't going to Ukraine. I don't see huge amounts of U.S. weapons, although there have been some flowing into Ukraine in the form of aid. So therefore, President Biden and the rest of the Western world can speak really strongly about what's going to happen all of a sudden if I invade Ukraine, but they don't care because they're not putting men and American lives behind those statements. Allison mentioned that the president of the United States, President Biden, is going to meet with the German chancellor. Germany obviously understands Russian aggression better than just about any other country in the world. And yet they are not even giving Ukraine a single rifle. They were mocked widely for sending helmets and refusing overflight rights from Germany for weapons and material going to assist the Ukrainians. So you have to understand that Vladimir Putin is looking at the West right now and seeing a very fractured group of people in a number of countries, Germany namely, that's much more interested in their own economic interests than they are in confronting Russia. And Vladimir Putin is an expert, former KGB man, at exploiting those fractures within the coalition.
Yeah, we need a strong message being sent. It's not going to come from Macron today to Putin, who he's, publicly said, I'm going to be sure to let Putin know that we care about his security concerns as well. It's going to be interesting to see how this develops. And Leland, I know you're on top of all of it. Thank you so much. You can watch On Balance with Leland Vittert tonight on NewsNation. It starts at 7 o'clock, 6 Central, Monday through Friday, right here on NewsNation. Well, ongoing. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.